On today's show, it's myself and Mike Loginoff. We're talking about why the next week is so big in terms of the eye test when it comes to deciphering what the Warriors have with their second timeline. Maybe a stretch, but these dudes keep playing well. We'll talk about who, the hows, the whats, the whens, the wheres, and the whys coming up on today's show.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast.
What are they going to say now?
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
God, it is fun to cover this team. It's always a roller coaster. Up, skirt, all the way down, and we rotate again. But right now, things are looking good as the G League dubs have turned into the They Are Here League dubs. My name's Charlie Walter. Cover this team Monday through Friday. You can find us after games live on YouTube. Check us out wherever you get your audio podcast. Here to tell you that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Now the #1 sports podcast network out there. Mike Loginoff joins the program today. Formerly played his basketball in the city of San Francisco at St. Ignatius, San Mateo, born and bred, played college basketball as well, was a three-point specialist in his day. Mike, it's as simple as this on today's show. We're about a third of the way into the season. 25 games in, looking at about a third. Who knows what we have in terms of the Warriors and how they're going to look in April. We're playing guys that a week or two ago you thought were 5 minutes to 15 minutes a game type of dudes. And now we're talking about how they could potentially save our season. But Warriors, man, let's get into it. How we been? You were boots on the ground a couple days ago, weren't you?
Yeah, I've been boots on the ground a couple times this season, Chuck. It's always a good time down at Chase, as you know. But ultimately, I think, when we looking back at the offseason and when we looked ahead to this season, we had talked about the Warriors being a 50-plus win team. And, we saw glimmers of that in the opening, first 4 or 5 games of the year. And then that dropped off. And then there was a bit of a malaise. And then there was renewed hope after those wins in San Antonio and that productive road trip. And then the Dubs dropped a couple more games when you, me, and Kolsky were on not too long ago. We talked about, we really hope that, when they drop those games in Sac and Milwaukee and Indiana, that wouldn't come to, bite the team in the ass down the line. But so far, it really has bitten them, right? Which is disappointing. But I think this road trip has, renewed a little bit of optimism in the team. I think the veterans are definitely looking forward to having some time off before playing Minnesota on Friday.
Sure.
And this is where the schedule lightens up a little bit for the Warriors, especially for the Unction, as we can try and find, a new nickname for these resurgent Dubs and the guys coming off the bench. Maybe we could call them the second timeline, but I think that would be a little fictitious at the very at best. But ultimately, man, I think this team has proven. I would say one of the things that we talked about with them missing. Let's just start with Pat. We can chat about Pat maybe for the opening segment here, Chuck. But Pat is ultimately. Who was I clamoring for the Warriors to pick up, coming from Sacramento? It wasn't my guy, Amir Coffey out of LA, but it was Malik Monk. And thinking about Pat as that sort of an archetype of a player from a creator and a shot maker who can create off the bounce, get in the paint, create for others, and knock down open looks, that's ultimately what Pat's been doing. And so I feel vindicated to a degree, Chuck. I feel vindicated on December 8th. After Spensanity has kicked off.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Let me ask you this, though. Do you think that this is for real? Is this Pat Spencer, or is this just a week that sometimes players have in the NBA where you're like, maybe they have something here? And he's good. He's an NBA player, but, I mean, dude, he's like 15, 5-5 since given the opportunity. He's playing smart. He's taking good shots. He doesn't really force anything. He's grabbing some big rebounds randomly, and he's just tough. He said that lacrosse had him prepared as just an athlete. He's like, my parents kind of raised me to be an athlete, to be unselfish, to just go out and try to win. He's like the backyard hero, man. We all knew him growing up. The dude that was just, he was a stud at wiffle ball. He'd launch him over the fence. He'd be the running back on the football team. He was just everything. And that's kind of Pat Spencer. He's an athlete. He's strong. And The question will be sustainability. Eye test over the next 2 weeks. Like, how does he look? How does Guy Santos look? I think Post is for real. I think we've seen enough at this point. Yeah, I think Post is for real. But the other two, it's like, is it a good week? Like, this has happened in Warriors land the last few years.
I mean, look, I think ultimately, I don't think we can expect that level of production from Pat. I mean, he's shown to do it in bursts.
What if he does it though? Like,
I mean, if he does it, then I mean, that's just found money, man. I mean, that's exactly what it's been. I mean, if you would have told us last week the Warriors go 2-1 on this road trip without the majority of their vets in multiple of those games, I think we would have said, probably not. You're wrong.
Yeah,
right?
buddy. Easy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Easy there, Tiger.
It's
Easy.
9 a.m., John. Put it down, buddy.
Exactly. But I mean, Chuck, that's the thing is, I mean, Pat really, he's
sorry to the Johns. All right, go.
He led the team to victory, and alongside Jimmy and Pods. We'll get into Pods a little bit later, but I mean, I think if you're having Pat come off the bench, and ultimately once Steph is back, that guard rotation looks a little bit more like Steph, Melts, Pods, Pat, and I think Pat's probably going to be coming out in bursts a little bit here and there. I mean, I think you're going to see Melton take over a lot of the primary ball handling action. Wouldn't surprise me if we see Seth starting to chew up some of Buddy's minutes. We saw what Seth can do in that Thunder game. I mean, what a homecoming. Welcome to the team, Seth. And
Buddy has struggled, man. He's under 30% from three.
And you can't have it, right? So I think Seth's coming for his minutes. And
it's shocking the leash that he gets from Steve Kerr. Like, Kerr clearly likes him a lot. I
mean, it's just ultimately they don't really have the bodies right now when you have everyone sitting too, right? And Seth needs to get integrated a little bit more. And when he does, I think he's coming for Buddy's minutes. I mean, I
think you can make the argument that Moody should get most of Buddy's minutes, but maybe it's something to do with Moody's knee. Maybe there's a little management there of injuries in the past. Like, you don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes, because I do think that there are games like in that Spurs series, it looked like Moody was one of the dudes with Jimmy and Steph.
Yeah, I mean, Moody's been up and down though too, right? That's the story of the season, is consistently inconsistent for their role players. But what I was going to get to too, Chuck, is even looking at that Thunder game at Chase last week, you saw what the team can look like when their role players are knocking down shots. Whether that role player is Pat Spencer, and that was the earliest time this season where the door kind of opened, and you saw, maybe there is a little bit of Spensanity that can get going here. I mean, he really led that comeback for the Warriors against the Thunder. But ultimately, when you saw, Melt knocking down shots, you saw Seth knocking down shots. It was ultimately when the Warriors role players are hitting those open looks, the team is a good team. The shot creation is not the issue. Steph's gravity creates that. Jimmy creates that. Now Pat's able to get into the lane and create that too. I mean, Draymond's obviously a great play creator as well. So the issue isn't the quality of looks. And literally, if you look at the data shows it, that the shot quality is very high. The shot making is very low. And so if you think, okay, maybe they'll progress to the mean and those role players will start making those shots, this team can make a leap. But ultimately, I think it comes down to guys needing to step up. They need to be able to kind of play the role that they're assigned. And equally, I think it wouldn't surprise me if we see a little consolidation trade, with he who must not be named. But those are some initial thoughts that I have, Chuck.
Man, we'll talk about him later on the show. That man, obviously, he could be named. He's on the team. Jonathan Kaminga earned some brownie points with me with the way he handled it, and like, you can't hate on him. Whether it's PR and whether he's just been trained well or not, doesn't matter. Like, he handled it the right way, saying, "Hey, the team's winning. Like, I'm here to do what the coaches are asking me to do." And there's a long spiel on that we can get into, but to me, it's as simple as like, we don't need to make it more than it is. Like, I just don't think Steve Kerr loves him as a player consistently. Like, he doesn't find a bunch of moments to where he's like, this dude's going to help me. Like, obviously Minnesota in the playoffs last year, he looks down the bench and he says, yeah, now that's when I need you. But when Jimmy Butler's returning, I mean, I understand, his logic of why he does it. And some people think like, what does Steve Kerr have on this dude? Whatever. Like, I just don't think he thinks he's that good. Like, I don't think we have to spend that much more time saying anything else aside from, take the draft pick away, take the performances that he's had at times away. Like, he's put together good weeks. He's put together, a good month, but like, we're still waiting on that good season, and it's year 5. And I think Kerr's just kind of like, you know what? I like E. So
it's 6,000 career minutes at this point in the Warrior system. Kind of know what you got. He started off the year, and after, Chuck, this is all to all of our listeners.
and
They
he
know
was
I have a
good.
very high standard for him, right? And when he started off the season, I gave him his flowers, I gave him his praises, but then there was regression, and you can't have that regression when you
A
want
lot
to
of it's
stay in
just
the
making
starting.
shots too. He's one of those guys that, like, the ISO game looks beautiful when he's knocking down shots, but when you're going 1 of 10, whatever, it's just kind of like everyone's
Yeah,
like, but he's grabbing rebounds. He's grabbing rebounds. It's like, so is Gee, and
yeah.
he's knocking down a 3.
And also too, I mean, it was just, you think about that Indiana possession where he got, lost when they were in Indiana, ended up, resulting in a 3 that led to Indiana getting that victory. Or you think in Sacramento when, if you want the torch, if you want the role, go deliver and get that win when the
He
old
did
guys
for a
meet.
half. He
Yeah, he did
looked
for a
great
half.
in the first half, man. He looked like the best player on the floor, and that's what's frustrating. And that's why I think it's nothing against JK. It's just like, dude, you are better off somewhere else. Like, I've seen all I
Exactly.
need to see.
The
Like,
marriage of convenience will end in a divorce that hopefully leaves both sides feeling good about themselves in the situation. Hopefully JK gets to a spot that ends up being good for him. Hopefully the Warriors get someone that fits into their system, someone like a Trey Murphy, someone like that athletic 3-and-D wing that they really need. But, let's see.
yeah, I think at this point, it seems like it's a bygone conclusion. And if that's the case, it would make a little more sense 2 months down the line when you see a DNP in a game like this. You're working on some different combinations. I mean, January 15th, it's coming. It's coming quickly. And we are coming back with a look at Quinten Post, DeAnthony Melton. Those are 2 players we're going to spotlight. This is Locked On Warriors, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We will continue after this.
Who can stop Steph Curry?
Hopefully we'll never find out.
All righty, today's episode is brought to you by America's #1 sportsbook. It is FanDuel. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you could place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. You feel it internally, but the spread is still on your side. You're getting points, but you feel an onslaught, 21-0 run coming. And that's when you jump in on the moment in FanDuel. The money lines adjust instantly. The player props update as guys heats up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, anything. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com. Place your NFL bets all season long. Those live bets. It's FanDuel. The game moves fast, and so can you.
And most importantly, he a dog.
We need more dogs.
All right, man. I think you were very, very adamant. It was a very adamant yes. It was very strong when I said that Quinten Post is for real at this point. Is it defensively, or is it just the fact that he is a great pick and pop player right now? Like, he's a legit dude that can go out and get you 4 or 5 threes, and that's not a bad shot. Like, him in the corner, him right wing, him top of the key, pretty much him anywhere, even with a sidestep 3 like we saw sometimes last year. Any Quinten Post 3 is usually a good 3, man.
I mean, he shoots it with confidence, right? I mean, that's what we talked about. I think it was after that Portland preseason game where Quinton, led
Quinten
20.
and Cryer, yeah, 21
Yeah, it's
point
great.
comeback.
Your guy, LJ.
One of the all-time great games that unfortunately probably only the most diehard of diehard Warriors fans will remember in the lore, but we were watching that one.
LJ Cryer, his coming out party for the NBA, baby. But no, but Quinton, we talked about it a little bit after that post-game show, but I mean, he's always shown a competitive spirit. He's always shown that, that fight, which I think is really important. And he's always been willing to compete, and he always has confidence, right? I mean, think about, there was, I think, some play last year, he gets an offensive rebound and Quinton throws down, a one-handed dunk and one. And I mean, he is just screaming at the bench with, fervor that Steph had after he knocked down that 3 against Dallas last year on Derek Lively.
Like, outside of Draymond, it's Pat and Post who probably have the most fire really, on the team, right?
Exactly, 100%. And I mean, he brings a dynamic of just, there's something about being 7 foot tall that you just can't teach, right? And you see his ability to contest shots at the rim. just by jumping straight up and down and not fouling and just making it tougher to shoot within the lane, right? And then on offense, someone who willingly shoots a three that the defense has to close out on as a big man, it just inverts the spacing, right? So, if you're dragging the big man out into the 3-point line, that opens a lane for some of the smaller dubs to try and get into the paint, right? And so I think Quinton just is really impressed. I think there was a stat, maybe it was during the game last night, or maybe I just, I saw it on social media today, but he's, I think, a top 5 defensive rating player in the NBA, which at this point in the season, you got a big enough sample size. It just shows you how important that center position is for the Warriors at this time, especially with Draymond getting older. I mean, he can't go bang in the post. And, like we talked about, if you got Al and Quinton and a little bit of TJD in that big man rotation just to chew up minutes to play with size, I think it really helps the Warriors over the course of an 82-game season. And Quinton's earned his right to, in my opinion, just be an everyday starting big. Go play him 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Let him get out there and bang. Let him get some rebounds. Let him contest shots.
He's averaging 17 and a half minutes, man. Not enough.
Yeah,
Last 3 games, 26, 32, 25. But let's start getting him closer to 28, 30 minutes a game. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean, you'll see that start to tick up. I think he's really starting to cement himself in this lineup. He's doing a little bit of Zaza Pachulia passing too, getting a little bit comfortable in the system, little drops between the legs to shooters behind him. I love that. You can tell, but you can see that he really is starting to get comfortable in the system. He makes decent decisions when he's in that short roller position. I don't love him in the short roller position just because of his lack of athleticism and quickness. And so I don't love him the way that I love Draymond and the ability to kind of make those quick choices. Quinton tends to end up making the quick choice, but it's not as snappy. But ultimately, I think he's cementing himself into this rotation, and hopefully Steve just leaves him in there as an everyday starter and maybe pulling him out in a spot just dependent on the matchup.
What about DeAnthony Melton? He's been just consistent thus far.
I love Melt.
Isn't he fluid, man?
Oh God. I mean, the jump shot, I just love it. It's like, it's so seamless. It's so smooth. Every time he shoots it, I just feel like it's going in. Yeah. I'm like, I mean, Pods has been playing better lately, but every time Pods hoists that, I'm a little bit like, oh God, is that
he's got to be open. If Pods,
he's got to be open and feet
Pods
set.
ever's taken like a step back with a hand in his face, like that's something that maybe I overestimated about his game when I was like, I think Pods can be like really, really, really good. I thought he had that capability, and like I've seen enough to where I don't think that's flipping overnight. Like he needs his feet set. He's a spot up shooter, and he is someone that like is damn near 40%, but it doesn't feel like it, if that makes sense. There's some shooters out there that feel like that. Even Buddy, and granted he's been terrible shooting this year, but even last year, like statistically towards the end of the season, it was like 37, 38%. And it just felt like whenever you're watching for that big three and he's open, it always rims out, man. It feels like it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Buddy just has not had a good year. But I mean, Melt, I think, is really, I think, part of the reason why we're seeing Brandon play better. And, you touched on this on the pod a little bit last night too, of just kind of playing off the ball. But even thinking, peeling the onion one more layer there, Chuck, it's a lot of what we talk about from archetypes of players, of slotting players into the appropriate role, right? And looking at Pods now of, okay, now that Melton's back, right? And sure, Pat's not Steph by any means, right? But if your rotation, your guard rotation is Steph, you got Melt, you got Pat maybe for some more primary ball handler action, then you got Brandon coming off the ball. I think that slots him into the appropriate role for him as kind of that connector and more of the glue guy, right? I mean, you don't need him to initiate action. Maybe he's coming off of a screen and then going into a dribble handoff and can get downhill, and there's already advantage creation there for him. And then he can find the shooter in the corner, find the roller, or try and hit that mid-range jump shot. But enabling him to play off the ball and to have opportunities created for him through the system, I think is important. But also too, something that I broadly noticed about the team that was disconcerting to me was it felt like for a period of time there, the guys were, instead of playing to win or playing to play well, They were more so playing not to lose or not to mess up, which is just a recipe for disaster. I mean, think about the times when Pods gets in the lane, ends up just, being a whirling dervish, not putting up a shot, and then just the defense is frozen, the offense is frozen. I mean, heck, it was who was that against? Against Utah, when Moses had a wide open fast break layup and didn't shoot the ball. He pump faked. Yeah. And it's what are you literally? I was watching that. The whole stadium just I was there, boots on the ground. The whole entire stadium, just the air left it. All of Chase was thinking to themselves, why didn't you shoot the wide open layup? Go up and dunk it. And the thing is, these guys they were quite hesitant almost when in this kind of past, call it 7-8 games until this past road trip, right? And they were hesitating. They were worried about making mistakes. They weren't being aggressive. They weren't shooting the open shots. They weren't even shooting the shots that they should, just in the flow of the game. And you're starting to see them play a little bit more aggressively like Pods. I mean, I like seeing Pods get 21 points. I think that's good for him. When he's playing with confidence, he can really help this team. When he's hesitating and, second guessing himself and over penetrating without anywhere to go, it really hurts his team, and it can look really, really freaking ugly. And it's great to see him get a little bit of confidence. But for the most part on this season, I mean, until the last couple games, I've been quite sour on Brandon. I think he's really has underperformed. He hasn't made the strides that we talked about. So, I'll eat my own humble pie. I was wrong on that one. I was hoping for a leap, and we hadn't seen it till the last couple games. But I mean, it's encouraging to see, but still, I'm very, very, very cautiously optimistic.
A couple housekeeping notes to get to. So the second round pick from this season, the Australian Alex Tui, has been waived. He's no longer on the team. It's injury related. He needs knee surgery. He's out for the season. And they added 6'9" wing Malavi Leons. I don't know that Leon. He's French. He played for OKC last year, 6 games, averaged like a point. It's OKC. Maybe they have something there. He's averaging 15, 7.5, and 3 in the G League. He's 26, 43% from 3, takes a couple a game, makes 1 a game. So we'll see if he gets any run, but he's size, he's 6'9", he's 210, and Tui, who wouldn't have played it all this year, has been kicked to the curb. It's Will Richard, who's the lone remaining pick from that draft. So that's why the Warriors went 2 for 1, I guess. They figured one of them would work out, right?
I can't believe we haven't even talked about Will. I mean, how phenomenal has he been for this team, right?
Let's talk about him coming up. Let's tease that. Let's talk about him coming up, and then I want to get your thoughts on few things around the NBA. First of all,
keep me in check, Chuck. Keep me in check.
First of all, let me play this real quick for you.
Pat is that motherfucker. I think that's that became clear. Sorry, am I allowed to say that or?
I don't think he's allowed to say that. How about Kerr? Has he done that in the past? I mean, dropping it like that.
I think he has. What did he say though? It was bleeped out. I couldn't surmise what he was saying there, Chuck. Can we say that? But no, I think he has. I think he said it from time to time. I think he's dropped a few bits of colorful language in his time.
I'm sure we could find a montage right now, and there's the over-unders quite a bit because he definitely doesn't hold back in those pressers from time to time. All right, let's get into Will Richard coming up. Let's take a look around the NBA. Let's preview the Warriors' next game. That is all ahead on Locked On Warriors.
Destroy Jimmy and Domino's. I know Jimmy drinks great wine.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Mint Mobile. Let me tell you a little bit about why you should check them out and why we've gone with Mint Mobile for quite a bit in our household. The reasons it's good, first of all, $15 a month for premium wireless, and you get it for 12 months of unlimited. That means you can lock in just a great deal. Right now, they're running their best deal all year. All their unlimited plans are 50% off. There is no reason to let big wireless drain your wallet, especially during the holidays. Give it the Scrooge treatment. Give the old the Scrooge treatment and in with the new. Mint makes the switch easy. There's no contracts. There's no nonsense. It's just real savings and quality service. Switching to Mint lets you keep your same coverage for a lower price. Setup only takes a few minutes. You can bring your own phone and number without any issues. The service is fast and super reliable, even on the go. Feels good knowing that you are not overpaying to stay connected. MintMobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Shop Mint Unlimited plans at MintMobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Turn your expensive wireless present into a huge wireless savings future by switching to Mint. Limited time offer, upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12 months. Plan required, $15 a month equivalent. Taxes and fees, initial plan term only. Over 35 gigabytes, could be slow when network is busy. Capable devices required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com.
And buddy, stop trying to dribble the ball.
All right, let's pick it up with a little Will Richard, man. What have you thought about his game? I think the most, I guess, shocking part of his game is he was such a big focal point at Florida. And here it just kind of seems like he gives you 8 and a couple rebounds, 7 points, whatever. He shoots well, doesn't really turn it over ever, doesn't really play make ever, but hits a big 3 here and there, plays solid defense. And I mean, he's the definition of like soaking up good minutes, especially for a rookie. And then the 3-point shot has impressed me, man. 39% from 3.
That's all you want out of a rook, right? That's pretty much it. Do the little things, hit the open shot when you're there. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't try to overdo it. Don't try to overcreate. If you're open, play through the offense, cut to get an easy look here and there, play hard defense, and be active on the glass. And I guarantee you, that is what the coaching staff is telling him. That is what will do. And he will do it with a smile on his face, and he'll do it as hard as he can and give 110%. That's what we talked about after the draft. That was the scouting report that I gave from, usually we're not big J journalists, or at least I'm not, Chuck. But that was from some of my sources that I have down in Gainesville. That's what to expect. And we've seen nothing but that this season. And I'm happy that Will's gotten his chance. He's making the most of it.
All right, so taking a look around the East and the West right now, starting in the West, the Thunder obviously 23-1. They're on the way to potential history. They've been just dominant.
They're okay.
The Warriors all the way down at 8 right now at 13-12. You're behind the Phoenix Suns. Everyone else, you feel like they may be tough. Maybe the Spurs, if Wemby looms, or if there are any more injuries over there, you can catch them. Maybe regardless, you can catch them. The Wolves, maybe they're in sight, but the Suns are the one that I think you can definitely get. And if you're in the 7-10, I would say you feel a lot better about things, but the Blazers sit there right now, and we're about to see the Blazers again in a couple of days. They may just, hey, how about this, man? Before we get back to the East-West, because this is a Warriors show and we have more important things than just to go up and down and run you through the NBA. And one of those important things is, how about Kaminga and the Blazers? Have you ever thought of that as a trade partner? Like, think of how that team plays. There's a dude like Jeremy Grant over there that maybe doesn't fit the timeline. I don't think they'd be willing to part with Drew Holiday, but maybe. I don't know, man.
I mean, I actually have thought about that, even just, in the Dubs group chat, just saying, how do we feel about Jeremy Grant? Jeremy Grant would be interesting. I think ultimately contract is tough. Do we really want someone who hasn't necessarily proven an ability to play winning basketball at a high level, right? I mean,
how about this name? Anthony Simons. I don't think the Celtics love him.
I mean, I think he's on the block. I think you're right. Anthony Simons would definitely bring that scoring pop. And frankly, too, he played in Portland for a long time with Dame. Stotts offense. Stotts is here now. I think there's some familiarity there. I think playing against the Warriors for years in the West and in the division gives him some familiarity with things too. He's a shot maker, a shot creator. I mean, kind of in that archetype of a Malik Monk that I've talked about. Definitely gives you that scoring pop. But I mean, you see what the Warriors can do when they have that scoring pop, right? When they have someone besides Steph that's just like, give me the ball, get out of the way. I'm going to go get a bucket. And I can do it with the jump shot, not by just kind of getting to the line or getting to the lane like Jimmy does, right? So it just adds a different component. It's another arrow in their quiver.
Question for you. Who would you put as your first and second team All-NBA? I'm curious, mainly second, because first to me is like, you got to go with Luka, SGA, and Jokic. Those are the requirements. I'm going to throw Cade Cunningham in there. I think he's had an awesome season. And then, I mean, you can't go with dudes that are injured like Giannis. Who am I missing here that definitely deserves to be in there?
I mean, you could make the argument.
Maxey
or Ant.
Maxey or Ant, one of those two.
Maxi's probably a second tier guy. I mean, Jaylen Brown and what they're doing, and
Jaylen Brown's got to be second, right? And Jason Tatum, per Bill Simmons, Jason Tatum is 100% coming back this year if things are going the way that they're going.
Which, I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily a good idea. I mean, who knows? I mean, the East
Modern
is
science. Trust it, man. Trust it.
That's what I think. I was listening to one of the pods, and Bill was talking about the fact that, he got the surgery. Oh, he got it within 12 hours. So, that's what, and it's like, all right. Well, yeah,
it's like a 10-second rule. Like,
exactly.
Come on, I can eat the fry. Who cares if there's,
I live by the 5-second rule, Chuck. You can live 10.
I live on the edge, maybe.
But yeah, I think he had surgery within 10, 12 hours, whatever it was, which I guess actually makes a big difference in Achilles recovery. But I think it would be silly to bring him back. But I mean, yeah, I think you can make that argument that, I mean, Jaylen, if it's, maybe he's a first team guy too, right? And I mean, Ant as well. I think Ant's going to present.
Durant is probably second team.
Could be, right? I mean,
Any Avdia potentially could be. I mean,
even Wemby when he comes back too, if he stays healthy, right?
Donovan Mitchell, Brunson. I mean, there's some Austin Reeves. Like, there's some names there. I think the first team is going to come down to like 6 dudes, probably. But yeah,
Cade's having a hell of a season.
Cade's awesome, man. That was my anyone that says, Chuck, you do not know ball. How about my Pistons take? Hang it, LeVar. I mean, how about my Pistons take? They're 19-5.
Yeah.
I said Cade was going to be first team, but both those like looking decent.
There you go. Well, hey, as in my Malik Monk take, look at what Pat Spencer's doing. Imagine if we had Malik.
For sure, man. One of the things that I want to do on this show with you, because I think it's going to be fun, is we chase cards. Yes, that's what we're doing. So the audio podcast is just about over at this point. This is some YouTube bonus content. You can stay for the cards that we pull, but a little Topps Black Friday thing. Have you so they call this the hobby. It's like, welcome to the hobby, my friend. It's a strange way to call, just like, yeah, I'm a degenerate and I want to see if there's a one of one in here, But you ever do this before?
I want the Cooper Flag rookie card.
The Cooper Flag rookie card. I have legit 75 of them. They're like $3 cards, and you'll get some pirates on eBay. I'm talking the base cards. You'll get some pirates on eBay trying to sell them for like 200. And I'm like, you're the problem with humanity, man. Be fair. Give the kids their Cooper Flags. All right, so we got a little Paul George. I mean, we're not worried about any of the base, even if they're rookies. We just are worried about these cards that are turned around right now. We get
what do we got? What do we got?
We get a blackout Deuce McBride. That's a great card. Especially, I went to the same middle school as him.
I was going to say, that's your
Cincinnati. Guy. That's my guy. I already had one of those, though, so it can't be that great. I've opened a few of these. A Devin Booker on the 8-Foot Ballers. And if you bought that pack for, solo for anything over $5, you just threw money down the toilet. These things are like furnaces, man. Don't get too deep into the weeds with them, but they can be fun from time to time. I'm not going to sit here and open up the entire box. I'm going to do it after. Sleeve the things, baby. But anyways, that's something we'll do, is maybe we get some elite content one of these days and we open up like a Steph Curry 1-of-1 autograph patch that says 2 Locked On Warriors. This one's for you.
Yeah, to Chuck and Mike.
Yeah, because I'm sure that card out there exists, man. Do you have any final thoughts before we bid adieu?
I mean, final thoughts is just this next stretch of games for the Dubs. I would like to see, Minnesota, big game at home. It would be good to get a win. I think these next 5 games, if the Dubs can somehow go on a run here, maybe string 4, go 4-1, and just play consistent basketball and competitive basketball, keep that ball hopping around, keep knocking down shots, and keep playing defense, because they have one of the best defenses in the NBA. I think this is a very important stretch of the season. This is kind of like I don't want to say a little bit of the make or break, but just from the ups and downs of what we had so far this season. Start off hot, really cool down.
Yep.
Kind of bounce back down. Now you kind of stole a couple games up the old guys. Get the vets back. Get out there. Get a statement win at home. Beat Ant. Go up to Portland and get a win against a team that likes to try and run you off the floor. Prove that you can beat those types of teams. And then put Phoenix down below you in the standings and then look back on this past week and say, okay, you know what? We're in a much better place now. That would be a great outcome. Obviously, I'm saying, oh yeah, they should go 4-0. It's a great outcome, but it's a very important stretch here in the West.
And as you were giving those unbelievable facts, we got ourselves a Maxi. Let's go. That's proof that he's a first team guy, man. That's it. This is Locked On Warriors, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We'll see you, Mike.